Okay, Kyla, so when we were reading last time, I noticed some of the times that you were reading words, you were reading just the beginning of the word and your eyes wouldn't read all the way through the end. So I want to remind you of a strategy that's going to help you when we're reading. So I want to make sure when you read, sometimes our eyes, they just read like the beginning of the word and our brain will try to catch up and figure out what the rest of the word's going to be. And our eyes kind of get lazy and we sometimes forget to read the whole word because our brain wants to take over, okay? I do this too myself. So I want to remind you, when we read, we want to really make sure that we check the beginning, the middle, and this is when your brain tries to take over. Your brain will go, okay, I see SWI, it must be swim. And our brain tries to take over sometimes, but it's so important that we read and make sure that our eye sees that very last word, that very last letter, so that our brain knows exactly what the word is rather than our brain trying to catch up and go too fast. Does that make sense? It's very common and it happens a lot of times because our brains just want to help us when we read, but sometimes our brains put the wrong letters there and then our story starts to sound kind of funky or the words don't really match what's actually going on. So when we're reading, if we get on a word that we don't know, or sometimes if we just get going too fast, I want to make sure we read the beginning, the middle, and then the end, okay? So I found this passage, and this was that underwater passage that we've read before, and I found some words in here. When you read this, I'm gonna have you read this out loud to me, the whole thing, but when you get to these orange words that I underlined, I want you to really make sure that you stop and practice beginning, middle, and end of the whole word. Does that make sense? So you're gonna read this entire little passage, but especially on the orange words, I want you to stop and try beginning, middle, and end with your eyes as you read it out loud. You wanna give it a try?
Yeah, but I'd be dark or light? Would it be warm or cold? Would you find strange new animals and plants?
Wonderful. I love that your eyes, I could tell that they went all the way to the end of that word because you said animal and then you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And then I saw that your eyes went back and you said that S that was at the end of that word. That was great.